99.7 The River with Megan Trainor. Hey, it's Rickie Tyler in the Morning Catch. Thank you for joining me. And acclaimed authors J.P. McLean and W.L. Hawkin going to be at Coho Books on Friday for Myth, Magic, and Dark Dreams. And joining me on the program now is W.L. Hawkin. Good morning.
Hi.
Thank you so much for joining me today, Wendy. I appreciate it. I understand that you recently moved to Campbell River. What made you decide to move here?
The Lower Mainland.
Yeah. Enough said.
Yes. That and also I had come through here. I think it was around 2018 when I was researching a book that I'm setting at Nootka Lighthouse. And I came through here with my daughter, and we were eating at, was it Krabby Bob's?
Oh, yeah.
And I looked at her and I said, okay, we really should move here. And she said, it's so far. And I said, yeah, I know. But then here we are.
Yeah.
It worked. So,
fantastic. That's so great. Well, welcome. We're happy to have you here in Campbell River.
Thanks.
We're very lucky.
It's a beautiful. I feel like I'm living in a staycation. Yeah. It's just, yeah.
It's an amazing place. So, again, welcome. We're glad to have you here. So you're going to be at Coho Books on Friday, along with J.P. McLean, Myth, Magic, and Dark Dreams event. That's going to be tons of fun. So tell me a little bit about what's happening at this event. Are you going to be reading?
Yes, we're both going to be reading.
Okay.
So J.P. McLean and I have known each other for a while, and we write the same kind of thing. We both write supernatural thrillers, really. And so we decided, hey, it might be fun for Halloween for us to get together and do this event with the two of us reading and kind of sharing our stories and do a Q&A for people who are interested. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be super fun and interesting.
Yeah.
I'm speaking with critically acclaimed award-winning author W.L. Hawkin, who will be at Coho Books for a reading and book signing on Friday. Now, your latest work is Lure, Jesse and Hawk. I understand that this is actually a book that you started many years ago that you put to the side and now have finished.
That's correct. Well, 30 years ago. So I was in a transition phase where I was leaving a divorce and I was starting university. I was in Ontario and I was starting Native Studies at Trent University there. And I wrote this book. I drafted this whole novel that has a lot of Indigenous spirituality and things like that in it. So it's a really interesting story. It's a romance. And yeah, halfway through that career, actually, my mother said one day, well, I kind of understand why you're into this because, my great-grandmother was Tuscarora. And I said, what? Why am I hearing this now? She was 75 at that point, and so it was just interesting. But anyway, I tucked it away in brown paper and kind of left it and then moved around for 30 years and found it a couple of years ago and read it and thought, oh, this is pretty good. I'm going to rewrite it. So I started rewriting it. And because I'm an intuitive writer, I don't follow an outline. Even though it was all laid out for me, I got partway into it. And then the Jessie, who is the hero, she found a skeletal hand coming up in her shed, and turned out it was the buried body of an Indigenous girl who had been missing for 20 years. So I asked this character, I said, what happened to you? How did you get here? Because there's such a lot on murdered and missing Indigenous women now.
Yes.
And she told me her whole story. So that interweaves through the story and is all connected to the characters. It has the mystery and it has a little bit of the magic as well.
I find it very interesting that this is something that you were already picking up on 30 years ago when the subject now today is so timely.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It is. I mean, we were already looking at residential schools and all of those things, back then. And it was just a great program. It changed my life. I did all my healing there. So I'm just really grateful for that whole opportunity. I just put it out as an audiobook on Google Play. So that's kind of fun.
Fun, for sure. So this is the book that you're going to be reading from on Friday at Coho?
Probably not.
Oh, okay.
Probably not because we're doing a kind of a Halloween madness thing.
Okay.
So I am probably going to be reading from one of my third book, which is a vampire book. It's Wicca and Vampire. where there's actually vampires in, the Broughton Archipelago, in case you didn't know.
Well, I will not be vacationing there anytime soon. As much as I love vampires, I think I'll stay away.
So I'll probably be doing something that has vampires and witches in it, because my Hollystone Mysteries is a coven of witches who solve murders and through ritual magic. And so I'll probably do something around that.
Well, that sounds super fun. I am a big Halloween buff, and I love those kinds of stories. So it's definitely right up my alley, and the timing couldn't be more perfect. I'm speaking with author W.L. McLean, who's doing a book signing at Coho Books on Friday. Now, you mentioned before your Nootka Lighthouse experience, so it's not every day that you get to talk to somebody who's actually been a lighthouse keeper. So I wanted to ask you about what that experience was like.
Right. Well, yeah, I actually was really stressed out teaching school, so I took a year off and I applied to the Coast Guard. And just in case anybody is interested in this, they are really looking for people to be relief lighthouse keepers still.
Okay.
So, yeah, there are jobs out there. And so the job involves having your BC radio operator certificate, which I'm sure a lot of people here have because of boating, and your first aid. And then you're taken out. I went mostly by helicopter, which was the best part.
Cool. That's really cool, isn't it?
So cool. And I would pack in 3 weeks worth of supplies and food. It's kind of like glamping. And you go out to these remote stations, they drop you off. And your main job is weather reports every 3 hours. So there's 2 shifts, usually 2 people, 1 person living in each house. And while I was there, I was doing a lot of history research into the places. And they're so historical. I mean, just so many things happen, especially at Nootka. That's one of the biggest ones. I do have a blog called Life on the BC Lights that people can just Google, and that has my whole lighthouse keeping journey there.
I find it absolutely fascinating.
Interestingly enough, I've just completed a book called Ghost Light that is based on my lighthouse experiences. There's paranormal in there because the young girl can talk to ghosts, and there are so many ghosts on lighthouses that I thought this just works. So it's fun. So right now, it's actually a few students, high school students, are reading it for me. So that's kind of fun.
Yeah,
they're doing a beta read. It's Campbell River students, and they're reading it, and they're going to give me some feedback.
Oh wow, fantastic!
Yeah.
That's so fun. And I look forward to checking that one out too. So you and JP will be over at Coho Books on Friday, Myth, Magic, and Dark Dreams, starting at what time does that start?
It's from 6 till 8 p.m.
Okay, great.
And we'll be in costume, and you are welcome to wear costumes. And I think it's just going to be lots of fun. We're just going to have a great time.
Yeah, it definitely is going to be a great time. So, Wendy Hawkin, thank you so much for joining me today and filling us in and sharing your stories. It's a blast.
Thank you.
And Wendy and JP have each offered up some signed copies of their books to give away to our River listeners. So if you're interested in going to the event on Friday and you want to win a signed copy of one of the books, just text the word magic to the River text line 250-287-4444. That'll get you in the draw, and I'll announce some winners before 10 o'clock.